Welcome back to Beast Wars Wednesday.
You couldn't even wait for me to sit down.
Of course not. We gotta get shit done.
It's true. Time is money, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm not getting any younger.
I am your host.
I am your host,
Decepticon Doug.
Decepticon Doug.
And I am your host,
And I am your host,
Predacon Paul.
Predacon Paul.
And we are back after covering... We finished the series, but we're not done everything just yet, because we are going to be talking about the second set of comic books for
The Ascending!
He's right, yeah. Well, I'm not super familiar with these like I am the show, so I had to take some notes down. This story takes place right near the end of Beast Wars, the show, so I guess this is all after defeating Megatron in the Nemesis. Yeah. But before they launch back to Cybertron.
They're just loading all their space bags and stuff like that into their spaceship, their space luggage.
Mostly, they just fit in Rat Trap's Pred Parts collection. So, Unicron, that big planet guy who likes to eat planets, he's trying to come back. He's like, you know what?
I'm tired of being dead.
It's not cool anymore. It's not even fun. So I'm going to come back, and I've got an idea. I'm going to do it somehow. Megatron, who, as you may remember from The Gathering, was sort of sent... He was shot into a place where he's out of sync entirely with time and is... So anyway, it turns out he's not gone. In fact, he's everywhere. He's been sort of watching the beginning of time and watching all the way to the end of time. He sees that Cybertron is not in good shape, because not too long after he went into this non-space-time area, Cybertron gets eaten. And he's like, I gotta do something to prevent that, because Cybertron's where I keep all my stuff. The Maximals on Earth are like, I guess Cybertron's not coming. But it's been a while. I guess they assumed that signal that they sent out. Who was it who sent it? I don't know.
Well, it was the little dude who sends it. The Maximal. Yeah. And then it's Magmatron who gives the signal a boost, so that way Cybertron can at least hear it.
Right. Because he's like, that's the best way that this is going to happen. And, you know, it was real sweet of him.
It's that kind of Predacon, you know?
Suddenly, the Predacons, they're sick of it. They want to attack. And the reasoning is that Ravage wants to sync himself back in time with the actual Beast Wars that are happening. Because, well, I guess the Beast Wars are over, but he wants to sync himself back into that timeline so he can rescue Megatron, and I guess that's really all as far as his plan got. Rescue Megatron, and then I guess, I don't know, he'll help them. He'll help them beat up the Maximals or something.
He's gonna take their lunch 22.
Yeah. Gonna pull them upside down and give them a good shake.
Maybe even give them a swirly in those Cybertronian bathroom stalls.
Yeah.
In the bad part of town where they don't clean very often.
Ugh. So there's a big battle going on inside, so Ravage can sneak in and do his little beepity boop doop doop thing and switch time streams. But Razor Beast, our friendly neighborhood Razor Beast, our friendly neighborhood warthog, stops him. He's like, hey,
stop doing that.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah. Exactly. And Snarl's there because he's invisible. So one guy's stealthy. He's like, I'm more stealthy because I can be invisible. It'll come in handy later.
By the way, I can cloak.
But you know what they can't do very well? Secure prisoners.
They use rope.
They're like, I guess it's better than nothing. So the fight gets really bad outside. So they're like, Razor Beast, Snarl, we need your help. And Razor Beast's like, I really shouldn't leave Ravage, but you know what? He's fine.
He's not going anywhere. We
use
rope to tie him on.
He's a cat. He's down for a nap. He might be gone for another 3 or 4 hours.
Little did they know, he took a nap before the battle.
So he was not napping after all. He's like, finally, I can rescue myself from this thing. So he just takes his tail and goes whoosh and releases himself.
It was
really, really easy.
Why didn't they just like take his tail off, like cut it off?
So Ravage actually goes through with his plan. He just goes out of sync with that time, but he is intercepted by Magmatron,
who's like, yo, welcome to my hood.
And he's like, oh, this is hood. Yeah, very nice hood. I like it.
He's like, thanks, man.
He's very white. And Magmatron is like, okay, before you bring out the vodka, let me give you a grand tour of time and space. And he shows Ravage that...
the past, present, and the future.
Exactly. Well, mostly the near future. That's Unicron.
He's a bad boy.
And there is no glove big enough to give Unicron the spanking he deserves. He's like, Ravage, you gotta be my man. Go back there and tell everyone to stop fighting and save Cybertron. And Ravage is like, in Soviet Russia, Cybertron saves you.
Could resist.
It opened. And so he does. He returns to the time stream. Meanwhile, on Cybertron... there are some things happening that are silly.
Big Convoy's like, yo, this bot's dead.
Dun, dun, dun.
And he got wrecked by Maximals and Predacons. Do you know what this means?
He told a horrible pun, and nobody could resist beating him up. Or Maximals and Predacons alike are being attacked by some kind of weird virus thing called the Angolmois. I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced.
Angolmois?
Angolmois?
It's M-O-I-S, so Angolmois.
Yeah, if we're going by... Usually there's a lot of languages where we wouldn't pronounce the S. Angolmois?
The Angolmois. There you go.
Angolmois? Yeah, I can.
Angolmois.
That sounds like it actually could be the word.
Either way, it's a stupid word, and whoever wrote it, give your head a shake.
Yeah, shame on you. Not only do you name it that, but then you make us read it a lot.
Yeah. How many times, like, take a shot every time they reference Angolmois?
He's like, well, let's get to the bottom of this. But also, I'm sending you, Leo Convoy, and your pack of dudes to go and save the day on Earth.
So then they show up in a spaceship.
Let's do spaceship things. Woo! Like land.
And then they, like, hop out and they're like, yo, we're gonna help you guys.
We're gonna fight for the Maximals. But Ravage comes back to arrange a ceasefire with Leo Convoy.
He's like, yo, stop fighting. We should be friends.
Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends?
Would you like to come to my birthday party?
Leo Convoy's like, will there be cake?
Do get out of my head.
It doesn't matter if you like the person. The promise of cake is enough to bring you to a birthday party.
Will there be ice cream cake? Yes.
It's pretty good. I like that. It was not too bad of an Optimus Prime. So somehow the how do we say we said it?
Angolmois.
Angolmois? Yeah, somehow it's on Earth. How did you...
Angolmois.
Angolmois. Do you remember how it got onto Earth somehow?
Some type of capsule, and then they opened it up, and then they got infected, and then they tore that one dude apart.
And it got into that Stinger guy, the guy with the fish face and the stinger. He's like a Fusor fish wasp guy. So he's all like, woo, I'm bad. And he stings Razor Beast in the back, jerk. And now Razor Beast is all anglomoid, and he's like, I'm bigger now and a boar.
And my eyes are green. I'm a Spawn.
Yeah, that's right. Spawn does the green eye. Actually, yeah, very much like Spawn. I know they mentioned it. I'm like, oh yeah. The Maximals, they actually managed to restrain Razor Beast and get him under control. They're like, good piggy. Good piggy.
Who wants to make bacon?
He's like, I'm a good piggy. I'm a good piggy. But I think they just want to scrap in the Predacon guy. Because, you know what? Because he's not the protagonist. They pull that thing, capsule thingy-majig, out of his head or something like that. Like Ravage does a little zip. Pulls it out, he's like, hey, look at me, I want it. We're going to use it to provide medical care for all.
Vaccine for everyone, yeah?
Yeah. Ravage, little known, was the first champion of Medicare for all. You'll get the Medicare and you'll get the Medicare. Doesn't matter, huh?
You need the ambulance ride? It's okay.
Leo Convoy was like, we got the thing. We're going to go back to Cybertron, try to fix this mess. We're going to bring some of your Maximals with you, but some of you stay here. We're not going to very clearly define which of you will stay here and which will go. We'll just, you know what? The reader's just going to have to figure it out.
And then they leave.
Exactly. More guys who are Anglomoid come in and start a fight. But this time, Razor Beast, he's all super powerful and rage and stuff, but he's fighting on behalf of the good guys. The good guys being the Maximals and the Predacons now. And the bad guys are the greeny, glowy eye guys.
There's an awesome scene where, like, I think one of them, like, stabs him, and he just, like, kicks him with his hind legs, and he's just like, blah. It's actually a really good panel. Kind of reminds me of the virus that infected Optimus.
Oh, in Guerrilla Warfare.
In Guerrilla Warfare, when he got so aggressive, and they're like, well, why don't we just point Optimus in the direction of the Predacons and he can just take him out, and then he does just that.
Leo Convoy calls up his buddy, his name is Bump. He's like, hi Bump, I know you're like a scientist for hire.
I totally am.
Could you work up a vaccine when I bring you this thingy?
No. Pay me first.
I'll pay you in hugs.
Okay.
And then Big Convoy sees him and he's like, whoa, who are you? And he's like, whoa, I'm Bump.
I was called by Leo Convoy to do a thing.
And he's like, cool, we're gonna do a thing.
Do you have the thing? He's like, I have all the things.
Yeah. I don't remember exactly why they're there, but there some vortex opens up and the big bad guy who we've failed to mention already, the big villain of the piece, Shakaract. Shakarak or Shakaract?
Shakarong. Shakarong.
Shaka Khan. He emerges from this vortex thingy and he kills the Tasmania Kid. But you know what?
I don't care.
That guy had it coming because his name was stupid. With Shaka Khan coming through the portal and Big Convoy and Leo Convoy all landing, there's a big fight. There's a lot of characters, guys. There's a lot of them just shooting. And Shaka's just taking it all in there.
He's just taking it like a champ. He's like, your guns can't hurt me.
But they do have a plan. Don't worry, everybody. Snarl, everyone's favorite guy who goes invisible, gets dropped down from above. Yeah, as one normally does get dropped down from. And he's got a device that he just attaches to the big bad guy, and it sends him into that non-space-time thing.
Where Magmatron enlightens Shakarak.
Yeah.
And he's like, yo, dog, this is your future.
You're not the super powerful dude. You're just a minion of Unicron.
And we've all seen the movie Minions.
And he goes, oh, banana! Once he realizes that he was a minion the whole time, he does the thing that we all would do, and he kills himself on the spot.
He rips his heart out.
Which I think is like the anti-Matrix, is what they called it. So it's like the Matrix, but like...
Anti.
Yeah.
If the Matrix and Anti-Matrix touched, they would annihilate each other.
Or, since opposites attract, they might just fall in love and retire. Buy a beach house and just spend the rest of their days together. But not gonna happen, because now the Anti-Matrix is now in this limbo-y space-time place. Floating around with Shaka's body. Shaka doodle ding dong.
Is Magmatron just gonna sit there with his cadaver the whole time?
Well, apparently he doesn't need to, because somehow, because of all this stuff, he was able to come out of there. I'm back, everybody! I think I learned a valuable lesson. Being bad is not good. And everyone's like, oh yeah, thanks for this.
That was really the principal lesson for the entire series.
Meanwhile, on Earth, they finally kill all those guys with the glowy green eyes, but Razor Beast is too far gone and he loses his mind. And Optimus Minor, his little monkey buddy, he made the hardest choice he ever had to make. He was on his back. Razor Beast was like, you know what you gotta do.
Rico, get out to now.
Exactly, just like he Starship Troopered his general.
Do it, Rico.
And you can tell he's all sad about it. He's like this, he looks broken. He's just a sad little monkey. Everyone on Cybertron is hugging it out. They're like, peace is once again established, but Cybertron has taken such a bad hit. I hope nothing bad happens to us anytime soon.
Yeah, I hope Megatron doesn't do anything wrong. And who's standing there? Megatron.
And guess what he's gonna do? Wrong things. But don't worry, everybody. Before he does anything, he's going to announce that he's a dragon. And that they should all beware of the dragon's wrath. Enter
the dragon.
And yes, we said Megatron, not Magmatron, because Magmatron's there, but Megatron's also there, and
a whole lot of Trons.
There's, all these M-Trons, man. Just all these M-Trons, and all these convoys.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters, guys. Predacon Paul.
Yes, Decepticon Deck.
What did you like about it?
The art.
Yeah, the art's great.
The story was kind of like, I don't know. I liked some elements of it. Take it away, Doug.
Sure. I do agree, is that the art is consistently very good. Except in the very last one, I don't know if they switched artists or something, but some of the characters, maybe they're just getting so tired of drawing over and over again, so they're drawing the same robots and day in, day out. But it did start to look like it was dragging a bit. It was still better than I could possibly draw in my whole life. But it did seem like from the beginning to the end, there was a bit of a, just right at the end, a little bit of a decline in the art. But it was fine. It was still good. But yes, generally speaking, the art's fantastic. The character designs are awesome. Generally speaking, very loyal to the toys. But man, there's so many characters and so mmany character designs and so many...
I couldn't keep up.
You know, yeah, me neither. It was very complicated. Beast Wars the show has lots of the characters who are like A+.
Cream of the crop.
Yeah, exactly. And then the Gathering introduced all the other characters that were not in the show, and so some of the sort of B-grade characters were in the mix there. But generally speaking, all still pretty good. Now, the Ascending has even more characters introduced, and they're getting into the real deep cuts. The Beast Wars 2 and the Beast Wars Neo, and plus a bunch of other characters from who knows where that I don't even know because they're still on Cybertron and all that stuff. Some of these characters are so dumb.
Like the Penguin?
Oh, the Pack is so funny because, like, they're talked about as if, like, they're this elite strike force. Character-wise, they're written as if they are, but the art and the dialogue, it just doesn't match. They all look super goofy. Not all of them, but, like...
I think Leo Convoy is probably the coolest one.
Yeah, Leo Convoy is pretty cool. And then there's a guy named Apache. Well, the thing is...
Not a helicopter.
No, he's not. He's another mandrill, like Baboon. And they never acknowledge the fact that they're from the same toy. The Apache toy was the same toy as the Baboon toy. They didn't even change the colors. The way around it here was they drew him a little differently, but he clearly looks pretty much the same.
I noticed that too. I was a little confused.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that the monkey guy from before?
Could they not have had a moment where they looked at each other like... Okay, and then they have a bunny there, and they try to make the bunny look really tough.
He's all like...
He's got huge muscles and stuff like that. So there's the bunny, there's the penguin, they have a purple horsey. And the giraffe is a little head scratching too. It's like, oh, okay.
Oh my god.
What I did like about the giraffe guy is that he had this cool, like, extendo arm when he was in robot mode, but then he's got this awkward, like, huge giraffe neck on his I'm like, oh man, like, they're really scraping the bottom of the barrel. It's the C tier characters. But they talk about it as like, oh, it's the Pack. They're here to kick some Predacon tail. I mean,
you ever seen giraffes when they're fighting?
Poof! The
necks.
necks.
So ridiculous.
I wouldn't want to be sandwiched between those necks, though.
No, of course not.
They look silly, but
so it's thwack.
I guess it's all they got. It's like, what else are they gonna fight with? And then near the end, these characters just start dropping dead. I don't know who's who, or I'm like, which guy was that?
People getting blasted to smithereens.
There's a few characters where I was like, oh no, that one's Prowl. He's that big owl guy. He was cool. Oh damn, he died. But most of them, I'm just like, they got like a line in there, and then they're dead. Like, there was one guy who said he really liked his little clip where he was like, "You're a man of words and not actions," or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I think he got roasted that very next panel. All right, well,
really?
I guess you get one good line and then you're dead. If anything, they should have made the best out of it. It was like, oh, that sick burn. So then he explodes and he's like, oh, sick burn. I didn't get into the things I did like very much, did I?
No. I mean, it was enjoyable enough to read, but I couldn't follow it. I found it incredibly difficult to even follow the action.
I like the stuff on Earth a lot more, and that was easier to follow. But the stuff on Cybertron, it was all like a blur. I was like, whoa.
There was no like association with like where they were. I mean, like, I couldn't figure out, like, are they at the Predacon base? Are they at the Maximal base? Like, where are they? Like, location is so important, and it just looked like some type of metropolis that they were just standing in, and I just couldn't figure out for the life of me why. Why is this location so important?
It's probably why Cybertron is not usually the place where a lot of the action happens in Transformers, because it's supposed to be all big metropolis city, and so it's hard to differentiate different places. And so they're like, we'll just fight on Earth.
It's a much better idea.
Yeah. I did like Razorbeast's story. I feel like him trying to overcome this this thing, and then him basically having to save his comrades and give his life, made for a very poignant ending.
I did like how he basically took this thing that was going to destroy Cybertron and used it to his advantage, because I don't think he could have fought nearly as hard or savagely if he was in his right mind. It
was like guerrilla warfare in that sense. Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to use it, just point me in the right direction. Predacon showed up and he just killed them all.
Although this virus thing isn't actually very original either, because there was a G1 Transformer stories. It was actually the Return of Optimus Prime, where there was a virus that was turning everybody enraged in the whole galaxy. Like, it wasn't just robots or Cybertronians. These spores were spreading that were making everyone basically rage monsters.
Were they spreading at faster than light speeds?
I guess they were. I mean, it was okay. It was okay for the G1 Transformers, but it started to get very silly. When things get to be a certain level of power, like, it starts to make no sense. And those spores were they kind of reached that level where it was like the whole galaxy is at risk now, and it's all up to Optimus Prime to come back and open the Matrix and save the day. This didn't get that silly, luckily.
Well, the whole idea of the Amalgam stuff, where did it come from?
Yeah, and that's not very clear, is it? It just kind of was there and is somehow part of Unicron's plan to come back, but I don't really know how. Other things I liked, you know what, actually, I liked the very ending because of it transitioning from Beast Wars to Beast Machines. And, you know, we always wondered, is like, how did Megatron take over Cybertron? How did he overthrow an entire planet with 2 strong militaries? And this sort of provides some explanation. Whether you like the explanation or not, at least it's there. And it's sort of like, okay, well, because both military powers have been severely neutered. It was just kind of a cool panel to finish it off on. How much you like that may also depend on if you want to pretend Beast Machines happen or not. Because not everyone does.
I can't wait to jump into that.
I am actually really looking forward to revisiting Beast Machines. It's a very different beast, so to speak, than Beast Wars. It really is. Anything else?
No. I had such a hard time just following anything.
It would have been nice if maybe it was like a couple more issues. Like it was longer, so you could kind of like get those characters better established, maybe, or just the story and
whenever anybody died, I just didn't care.
Yeah, exactly, and it would
except like you said, Razorback.
Yeah, Razorbeast was the one for sure. Who would you felt that one. I like some of the characters, but most of the characters that I liked were established in the Gathering. So like Ravage, and well, I mean Ravage she was established even before that. Ravage, Grimlock, Razorbeast, Magmatron. But even then, a lot of the characters from there didn't really get a lot of time in here, so some of the development from before was kind of undermined because they wanted to fit in so much other story into this. Alright, so we are going to give the Ascending 3 out of 5 tough guy penguins. Ooh, look at him. Not the toughest penguin I've ever seen.
Well, look at his eyebrows, though.
But definitely the second.
His eyes are red, his eyebrows are like all sharp. He's got that karate pose. You know he means business.
I know it. It wasn't terrible. It was very convoluted, but there's enough redeeming qualities, and it's sort of important in the story as far as like Beast Wars to Beast Machines. I guess if you want some of the stuff that comes in between. So, what did you think of The Ascending? Have you read it? Let me know in the comments down below. Oh, and here's a little anecdote for you. So, as I was looking for the Ascending comic book to own, I wanted to get the trade paperback because that made the most sense to me. That's the cheaper way to get all the stories together. But for whatever reason, the trade paperback must be more rare and is more expensive than buying all of the comics individually.
It is very weird. Weird to me.
And don't forget,
tell your mom. The music was fantastic.
Oh yeah, this comic was scored excellently by Howard Shore.